So the one thing that made me give up on a game forever was, weirdly enough, just the general experience of DayZ. I have got so many hundreds of hours racked up in that game, but I remember the exact moment that I was just like, I'm done. And it came from being in a group with a few friends. My Australian mate Liam and I were just sat there having a chat, and I looked over and he was just on his phone, and he had like a system rigged up so that his character would be auto running forward. And I would just sat there with my finger just like on the W key, just like running forward, just going, we've been doing this now for like 10 minutes now, haven't we? And he's like, yeah. I was like, and we did this because in the last game, we basically just pissed around and got shots, and then we had to run for about 15 minutes to get to that location. And now we're running back to that location again to try and do the same thing again. He's like, yeah. And I was just like, what's the point of this? Like, what is the actual point? And this is back when it was still in like early access, when it had loads of people falling off ladders, breaking their legs, and it was very, very buggy to begin with. So what I just calculated was, out of the amount of the hundreds of hours that I put into this game, I'd only spent like 3 in total actually playing it. And that conceptualized thing of my time being wasted was just done. And now I'm really strict with what I do with games now. If I feel like they're wasting my time, sack them off in the bin. That's it, you get one and done. But yeah, so DayZ, wasting my time, was the moment that I realised that I just had to sack it off.
So maybe it's just me, or I'm just an idiot or something, but I have abandoned so many Pokemon games. I have never fully completed any Pokemon game because just the navigation in the Pokemon games just confuses me, and I get lost. I get so very lost. I forget where I am, and then I have to start over again. I have to go through the game again. And even with the new Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, I played it to death when I first got it. I was having a brilliant time. I was going through and I was collecting the cutest Pokemon, and I was getting these cute outfits and hairstyles, and Eevee was looking adorable. And then I put it down for a few weeks when, you know, work picked up and I'm trying to get stuff done, and then you go back to it and I can't remember what I'm doing, and there's, you know, not really much indication about where you're supposed to be going. You have a map there, but it doesn't really sort of tell you where you're going or who you're supposed to be talking to. And then I find myself just going round and round in circles on the map, going places that I guess I remember, and I kind of remember going to this place and walking down this road and talking to these people, but then I can't figure out where I need to go. And it's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating to have games that are just so good. And even with the original Pokemon games that I had on like the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy Color, they were so good and I loved playing them at the time, but put it down for a week and then that's it. I don't know what I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm supposed to be going. And then, like I said, you have to start all over again, and it just takes so much time. And I just give up, and I just end up having to abandon them, and then I go, oh, there's a new one coming out, I'll get the new one instead of actually going through and completing the game that I was really enjoying, because I just get so lost, and there's just nowhere, no one is telling you where to go, and I just completely abandon every single Pokemon game that I've ever played, and then play the newest one that comes out until I then abandon that one and go on to the next one. It's a vicious cycle. I hate it, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
So I've mentioned on these videos before that it's very rare that I put a game down for good. Even if I swear it off, I'll always feel the need to come back to it. Otherwise, I'll feel a kind of weird sense of defeat inside me because I can't let it hang. So even though I swore to be done with Days Gone, I went back to that. I swore to be done with Marvel's The Avengers, and I ended up going back to that. But one I can, sit here and positively say I will never go back to and finish is Mafia 2 Definitive Edition. Even if this piece of crap gets patched to the point where it actually works, I'm still not going back to it because I had such a slog through that game, and I was kind of in denial because when I booted it up I was like, it's fine, I can push through it, I really enjoy the game, I'll try to get as much enjoyment as out of it as I can, but I just couldn't. And by the time I got to the penultimate mission, so I'm one mission before the end on my save right now, I called it quits, because not only were the bugs and glitches somehow getting worse, but also the combat was much clunkier than I remembered it being, and much cheaper than I remembered it being. Maybe it's because I was playing on, I think I was playing on hard, so I was behind cover and I was just getting shot, and the terrible checkpointing system was booting me back, and I had to go through the same bugs and do the same things over and over again. That I got to that shootout, and after about 5 attempts, I just thought, I think I'm done. I'm so close to the finish line, but I can't do any more. I can't even see the game out. I know how it ends. I've played the original game. I don't need to, put myself through another hour of this when I'm just having absolutely no fun. And to be honest, when I got to that point, it made me realize just how much I hated the entire package and how much of a time waster it had been. So it's gone now, uninstalled. I will never ever boot that thing up again unless there's a remaster that comes out in a few years' time. The definitive edition 2, perhaps. Maybe I'll jump in then, but certainly not this edition again.
So this thing is, we've already done something similar to this, and I absolutely hate games that don't respect my time, which is to say that I hate games that like knock you all the way back on a bad checkpoint and make you like, why is the checkpoint before the cutscene, and why is the cutscene unskippable? I hate stuff like that. That feeling of when you lose in a game and you just, in your mind goes, oh God, where's it going to put me back? And I've got to do X, Y, Z again. Now weirdly I got over that with Dark Souls, and I sort of, they made it part of the game, but one of the most recent or newest genres in gaming, I think anyway, at least in terms of the boom across the 2010s, is roguelikes. And I love me some Rogue Legacy, and I love me some Dead Cells, and I'm loving Hades. But those games, every single time I die to a boss after like a half an hour run or something, because obviously if you're not playing much, if you don't know roguelikes, death always, it isn't really the end. You're always carrying things over, whether it's currencies, skills, XP, whatever. You're gradually getting better. Death is more of a mechanic in the overall progression than it is something that gets in the way. But retraining my brain to be okay with that is the biggest hurdle. And the one thing that put me, I never finished Dead Cells because I went, I don't know how many runs I did on that game, 50, 100, I have no idea. But I love the way it plays. I love everything about it. I love the feeling of the combat. But after having done a 45 to an hour minute run, getting all the way to the final boss and then still dying and knowing that I have to do all of it again, I can't. And I know that the whole point of roguelikes is that you get better over time. And right now that's what I'm fighting against in Hades, because I adore that game. I love Supergiant so much, Bastion, Transistor, Pyre, and Hades. Hades is so good, but every time I get to what is almost the final boss, the past Asphodel, people who are playing it will know what I mean, the fourth area, Styx is the fourth area. Get there, and I still die. It just puts me back in that mindset of like, well, that was a waste of time, and it just makes me give up. Now, my entry for this is Dead Cells, because I'm never going back to that again. I can't do it again. But Hades, I'm determined to finish. I hope. For now, I will, right? Probably. I mean, Star Wars Squadrons and Crash 4 are out in like 9 hours or something, or they'll be out by the time you see this. So I might be doing something else, but hopefully I can eventually finish one roguelike in my lifetime.